Bitcoin is a multifaceted test, but the greatest test that Bitcoin will give you is a test of yourself, a test of your ego. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Gen Z BTC. It's me, Satoshi Guapamoto. And today I wanted to talk about how Bitcoin is an ego test. Bitcoin makes you check yourself, take a second, and maybe admit that you might have been wrong, right? So first off, I was in the camp that Bitcoin was more of an intelligence test more than anything, which I will drop a video about that, by the way. But today we want to focus on the ego, the idea of the self, right? And the ego's greatest purpose is to preserve itself, right? So whenever your ego feels threatened, that's typically when people lash out the hardest. All right. If you challenge someone's masculinity, they get triggered extremely easily. All right. If you trigger someone's sense of identity, right, they feel very attacked and they're willing to completely escalate the situation, make it way worse because you're attacking their very being. Right. So when our ego is attacked, we feel like we have to lash out harder than we maybe should be. Right. The situation maybe doesn't warrant that much emotion, but it comes out of us. And what Bitcoin does is it challenges our ego. For most people, right? And I'll share my personal story in a minute, but for most people, when you first hear about Bitcoin, when you first see it, when you first see the price going up and all these people are talking about this digital coin, magic internet money, the first response to that is, oh, well, that's stupid. Most people, that's their typical response. Maybe their typical response is, oh, I don't care. You know, that's irrelevant. It doesn't really matter. But if we're being honest, all right, something reaching a near $2 trillion market cap is not something that's completely irrelevant. You know, that's not just nothing. All right. Something that is being utilized by hundreds of millions of people globally and is settling billions of dollars worth of transaction volume daily is not nothing. Right. So at first, the ignoring camp of Bitcoin might come around and say, okay, maybe there's something to this little internet money coin, right? Maybe there's something going on there. But it's really the hardcore deniers, right? The people who maybe didn't do too much research in the beginning and just kind of flinged it away as a fad or as a bubble. Those are the ones who have the hardest time coping with the situation at hand. And the situation is we're about to break $100,000 for just one of these things. And that is much more value than a single ounce of gold or anything like that, right? This is truly insane for the people who don't really get it. And Michael Saylor said something. He once said that Bitcoin's for people on a need to know basis, right? If you need to know about Bitcoin, then you're going to do the research and then you're going to figure it out, right? So Michael Saylor, he was once a denier. Larry Fink, he was once a denier. There are many more who have denied Bitcoin at one point and then eventually came around to it after studying it a little bit. I truly do think that anyone who studies Bitcoin cannot deny Bitcoin, right? They end up becoming a Bitcoin maximalist because it's the only thing that if you're a rational actor, it just makes sense. But Michael Saylor said,
when you're at the beginning of your life, you're not successful, you've got no respect, you've got no future, you better find something new, right? That's why Led Zeppelin, they picked up electric guitars and they played rock and roll because Beethoven and Mozart had already done the other thing. Too late for that new thing, right? The new people get the new thing. And so occasionally you find a 30, 40, 50, 60-year-old who will embrace the new idea, but it's like, what is it? You have to be profoundly, intellectually curious. Larry Fink is. That's why BlackRock is going to make a fortune on this. Or you have to be desperate, frustrated, nothing to lose. I mean, the truth is I'd characterize myself that way in 2020. It's like the stock is like $6 a share enterprise value. The company's enterprise value is $6 a share. And my choice is sell the company and retire or take a risk and open my mind. And I remember I'm sitting at my poolside next to my friend Eric Weiss, and it's March and the lockdowns hit and interest rates go to zero and, and the stock market's crashing and, and all hell is breaking loose. And I say, so tell me about that Bitcoin thing again. It's like, so that's what you'll find that when, you look at people and they're one or the other, but it takes a while for a paradigm shift. You got to really need it or want it. And that's why it's an exponential process.
It's just about a need to know basis. The people who are already benefiting greatly from the fiat system, right? Again, I dropped that video about Marcus Brownlee. Uh, Honestly, Marcus, he doesn't really have a need to know. He's doing really good for himself, just getting checks from all these major companies who just give him US dollars. So there's really no need for him to, at least in his mind, to flee from the dollar to any other system, right? People who are already rich, and these are the people who are going to get burned the most, by the way. The people who already have money, the people who are already millionaires, they're going to get burned the most because there's 61 million millionaires, right, globally, but there's only 21 million Bitcoin. Do the math on that. What's going to happen is we're going to see more and more and more and more millionaires come onto the scene. But the problem is they're going to be the equivalent of Zimbabwe millionaires. Okay. And the problem with Zimbabwe millionaires or peso millionaires is that it's not really that impressive because what's happening is your currency is getting debased, right? So just because you have a lot of US dollars today doesn't mean you're going to have a lot of purchasing power tomorrow. And it might take a self-reflection, right, in order to realize this, right? Because once you come to that realization, you're going to realize, wait, my wealth is a melting ice cube. This is not good. I need to preserve my money. That's what everyone wants to do on earth. Poor people, the little bit of money that they do have, they don't want to lose it, okay? They have to preserve it. Rich people, they have a lot of money. They definitely don't want to lose it. They have to preserve it. Bitcoin is the only thing on earth that solves the problem of both rich people and poor people at the same time. Nothing else has ever done that. That is truly incredible. And as soon as more people start to realize this, right, once their currency gets debased more and more, they're going to want to transition to a system that is not controlled by one central point of authority, right? Part of the problem, once again, is people who own assets, the people who already own assets, they seem like they're getting richer. Because it's like, oh, look, my house price doubled in a single year. The price of my house doubled in 1 year. That's not good. That means that hyperinflation is literally happening. All right. There's going to come a point in the near future where someone's house price is going to double in a single year, right? That means that the price of a car is going to double in a single year, which means that the price of food most likely is doubling in a single year. All right. We've already seen prices double over the course of 4 years, prices triple over the course of 4 years. Eventually, we're going to start seeing prices double over the course of a single year, prices double over the course of 6 months. This is where we get to that runaway inflation. And instead of telling yourself, oh, well, I'm just getting richer, you have to check your ego. You have to check everything that you've been taught. Okay. Which again, school didn't teach us much about finance, but the little bit that it did teach you, whatever you think you know about it, it is not true. Okay. That is a test of the ego to be like, I have actually been duped. I've been lied to. I've been tricked. I've been misled, maybe maliciously, maybe just due to pure ignorance of the system that I'm a part of. But either way, there is a paradigm shift happening. Okay. The paradigm shift is to decentralized systems. Okay. It's to AI based systems, right? So back in the day, to become a $1 trillion company was extremely difficult. Now there's a bunch of $1 trillion companies running around. It's a $1 trillion company bargain sale. All right. Part of that is, yeah, the economy is becoming a little bit more efficient. All right. But the main thing is these guys are getting to $1 trillion valuations with less employees, right? It's because they're able to utilize the future, right? They're able to utilize decentralization. They're able to utilize automation. They're able to utilize AI. Pretty soon, we're going to see multi-million, multi-billion dollar companies with 1 or 2 employees because all their other employees are all going to be AI, right? That's the future that we're heading towards. Airbnb is one of the biggest like housing providers or property management companies in the world. They don't own any houses. They've decentralized housing. Uber is one of the biggest car companies in the world, one of the biggest transportation companies in the world. They don't own any cars. They've decentralized the cars, right? They've decentralized transportation. All right. X, okay, is one of the biggest news outlets on earth. X doesn't have any reporters. All right. They've decentralized information. Okay. YouTube, it's one of the biggest resources for knowledge. It's one of the biggest universities in the world, but there are no teachers. They've decentralized education. Okay. Bitcoin is one of the biggest banks in the world. There is no bank teller. There are no reserves. There is no bank. They've decentralized currency. They've decentralized money. Do you see what is happening? There's a shift towards decentralization. All right. Mark Moss talks about this. The convergence of AI, the convergence of decentralized systems, right? These disruptive technologies coming together to create a paradigm shift. No one sees the paradigm shift coming once it's there. No one sees the waves coming when they're in the water, right? You don't see the tech wave coming. Most people don't see the mobile wave coming. Most people didn't see that. You know what I mean? Like, as Nokia's and everything were developing, they didn't see the iPhone coming. There was a paradigm shift coming. Even when the first iPhone dropped, people did not realize the magnitude. Yeah, everyone's going to have one. Yes, everyone. All right. And that's exactly what happened. Okay. People didn't understand the internet in 1999. They really didn't. They didn't realize, yeah, everyone is going to be on it all the time. They didn't know that. Bitcoin is going to be owned by everyone and it's going to be used by every country. Right now, most people do not see that. And a big part of that is just they don't want to believe it and they don't want to admit that they're wrong. There are many people who just straight up don't want to admit they're wrong about that. And time will tell, but the future is shaping itself every single day. And we're moving closer and closer to a Bitcoin future. All right. And things are changing so quickly. We have more in common with the past than we do with the future. But stay tuned. I think you're going to witness something truly incredible. Moral of the story, sometimes you have to take a step back, think about why you think the things that you think. Can you track your opinion to its origin? Where does that opinion come from? Where do your feelings about this thing come from? Then from there, do a little bit of reading, read the white paper, read the Bitcoin Standard, read anything you need to. Try to grasp it, understand it, see where the world is going. Skate to where the puck is going if you want to score. Don't skate to where the puck currently is. Skate to where it's going. Shout out to Wayne Gretzky. This has been Gen Z BTC. It's your boy Satoshi Guapamoto. I'm signing off. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, and subscribe. I got a lot more coming, and I appreciate all you guys for all the support. So thank you so much. Stack sats or die trying. I'll see you in the next one.